So I guess we're on. I hope the mic is doing well, but it seems it does. Yes. Let me just check everything. Yes. So I guess we're on. So welcome to my second day, or like second time screaming. Technically it's the third time. However, like I view last week as like one stream in two parts because I needed to check out all the technical stuff. And to iterate, the reason why I'm doing the streams is that I have this idea of perhaps recording my videos live and then cutting them up for like the interesting bits for the channel, because the process that I had before didn't work out that well for me, because I like had to plan, and then there was this huge pressure of me having to perform and then cut everything up and like have like a lot of the stage fright. And this way I'm putting myself out there. There is of course stage fright, but also I am putting very little pressure on myself to actually perform. For today, I have like two things that I'm thinking I'll be doing. First of all, I have to paint the Five of Swords, which I will be sharing my screen later. Also to test how it works to share like a window of screen. And I also wanted to talk about something that was suggested to me by my friend on one of my Instagram posts, where I asked for questions. I see somebody has joined. Hi, whoever you are. Nice to have you here. I'm just doing a little intro for me to like get my juices flowing and to hopefully not sneeze, because I'm like getting a sneeze urge, but I guess that's going to be fine. It's again very hot. My fan is blowing directly at me, and it's somehow like making my nose itch for a sneeze, but hopefully that will not happen, because if I sneeze, then my sniffles will start, and that will be a disaster, like a huge disaster. So hopefully that will not happen. The topic that I have prepared for today, I will find it somewhere. I will actually read for everybody the translated comment. The translation is just Google Translate, so I apologize if it sucks, but I've read it through, and it makes sense to me. My friend commented on my Instagram post. I'd be interested to know how you got to all of it, and explain it for laymen. Exactly what influenced you and how all your practices and knowledge came together. I'm currently taking an online course at Harvard for various divination methods, so I'll definitely like to hear something more about this topic. The course is very good. They also deal with evaluating those divinations. For example, with tarot, it is clear to me, I see myself that completely different cards fall out to me depending on the energy of different periods. Also, I can immediately see that those energies, how those energies really work. But for example, with those ancient practices where we often don't have that feedback, how or which prediction came out or not, or we have it, but we don't know if it's been changed. We don't know if a human interfered, etc. Or some type of divinations are so random, like auguries. So I would be interested in an overview of which practices are somehow connected, and how they can somehow read the mood and energy from that fields versus those that don't. Or maybe that's a strong word. Maybe those seem very those just seem very random to me, or stuff like that. Well, that's a mess now that I read it out loud. But generally, what the original comment that was in Czech said was, or like the question about it was, how to reconcile different types of divinations and like how they work in terms of energies in the room. I will not be responding to her comment directly in this video, but it gave me an idea to speak about divination from a different perspective, because the way I divine lately, and like for the past decade and a half or something, is not through the energy model, which is what my friend is referencing, but is through the spirit model. And that, very briefly summarized, means divining through communication with spirits. So however, whatever divination you're using, the gist of it is you're not reading the energy of the room, as she suggested. You are not actually like reading the cards or the dice or whatever you're throwing, but you are essentially connecting with some sort of spirit and communicating with them through the divination. And the divination is basically the spirit answering your questions. What my friend is referencing in terms of the cards, for example, the tarot being able to read the energy of the room, I think her view is very much in the energy model, which is also like valid, that you basically pose a question to the ether, and then through like the electrical currents and the stuff that's happening in the room, it influences how the deck behaves, and certain cards fall out based on that. Or, for example, you are very much like in tune with your body, and your body is maybe making some micro movements that cause, for example, cards to fall, or for you to make certain decisions if you're like pulling the cards yourself. That is all well and good. It has never really worked for me. I have apologies. I have either read the cards as like traditionally through the archetypes, or I have most of my life read the cards through some sort of connection to spirit. I will change the scene, but this is the wrong painting, isn't it? Let me edit. This scene. No, this is wrong. Can I change this? I can change it. Outsource. I pre-prepared this, but I pre-prepared this wrong, because it's the painting I was doing this morning. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. God damn it. Remove. Yes. It should be this one. Hmm. Hmm. No, it's the wrong window. I don't know what's happening here. Oh, that's very sad. Huh. Four of Swords, not Five of Swords. It's mistakenly named I have stopped Krita. Let's do Krita again. We're doing five of swords today together. Okay, no. What a mess. Huh. Well, let's do it through capturing display and not the program. Hopefully that will work. Okay. This is what we're doing. I already have started on it in spring, technically, with like doing the main draft. And I have already like started drawing this afternoon because I actually have to finish, or like not finish, but do the next step of 2 paintings today, which kind of stresses me out because it's 4 o'clock and that kind of means I can only do one. It's practically impossible for me to do 2 today, but let's see what happens. So, to speak about divination through the spirit model. I speak about it a lot on my social media in general because you know, that's the model that I do, and it's also how I design the decks that I create, and that is with the possibility in mind to use them in spirit divination, as well as like with general divination. You might use them with any other type. The way I see it, the way I see divination, like in the spirit model, is that you take the cards, you basically turn yourself off for a minute, like your mind, you like create a blank slate in your head, and you open yourself up, however you like view this as a possibility of opening yourself up, and you let the entity not like inside you, that's not what I mean, but you let the entity influence, let's say, the way the communication is working uh between you and it through the divination method you are using. That means, for example, if I shuffle the cards, I usually read only jumpers, because I don't want to have to even a little bit like turn on my mind and like risk that I would like influence, let's say, the not the result of the reading, but the view, that like the shape, the way the message comes through at all. And I can only already tell that it's going to be a problem to speak and paint at the same time, because I can apparently only do one thing at a time. And that is a problem. Oh my god. Well, but there's nobody here, so that's fine. Oh, this was such a mistake. This was a mistake. I'm not even recording. Ugh. Oh my god. Oh, no. It's the time for my robot vacuum to turn on. Okay. Let me just... Okay. I hope it starts beeping. Well, let's start again, okay? Otherwise, I will just feel like this is a complete disaster. So, through divination through the spirit model works as a dialogue between you and a spirit, preferably a spirit that you have summoned yourself, so you know who you're speaking to. I cannot stress that enough, that you actually have to, any way you can, make sure that you're speaking to the entity that you want to speak, that you're not just asking like into the ether and waiting for somebody to respond to you willy-nilly. It's not that it's like dangerous to do so, it's just you have no idea whether what you're receiving as a response is truthful or not. Whereas if you ask an entity that you trust, you at least know that, or like, you know as much as you can know. Ojo, prosím. Ojo. Mijo. The robot vacuum is keep beeping. Stop beeping. Stop beeping. It's very annoying. Stop beeping. Okay. What a disaster. So you have to make sure that the entity you're talking to is the entity you want to talk to. It's a matter of trust, not as much like as danger or like as a matter of caution. It's just, if you trust the entity that you're speaking to, you can like rely to some degree that what they're telling you is truthful to some degree, at least, or like within the best they can do, at least, because not always like every spirit, every deity, every entity knows the answer to the question that you're asking them, but they may at least know your situation well enough to give you some sort of guidance in what you need to know. So you would like enter some sort of meditative state where you are open to like receiving communication, being present in that dialogue you're creating, because if you're not present, if you're too much in your mind, it's very hard, at least for beginners or before you have like get a hang of it. It's very hard for people to like discern what is my thought and what is like outside, like what is a thought that has been like imparted onto me or like given to me of like in some way or another. It also works the other way around. I see sometimes people presuming that what they like see as outside communication, signs from above, omens, uh any sort of like messages, that those can be, that they presume that those are from like an outside entity or from like deity or from God, and very little or like not enough people examine whether these thoughts and like these sentences, messages, phrases are actually coming from the outside, from the deity, or from like an expected place, and if they are coming from just yourself and you're not really able to recognize or discern your own thoughts from like outside perspectives. And even outside of witchcraft, let's say, it's it can happen very often that it is very difficult for us to even distinguish between our own opinions and the opinions of our group or of our little bubble that we live in, and uh what is actually like from us and ours, and what just has been put onto us culturally, socially, and stuff like that. And I think we need to uh learn very much to discern these things and to examine ourselves and be able to, as precisely as we can, distinguish what is coming from within us, what is ours, and what is part of our like inner dialogue. First of all, what is part of our innate self, of our like higher self, in terms of what we really want, what is like best for us, what is good for us, and the inner dialogue, like the inner, it can be form, like it can be in the form of an inner critic, or like the anxious little thing that like keeps telling you into your ear how you fail and this is dangerous and don't do this, the self, like all the self-sabotage that we go through, and be able to distinguish those two from each other, first of all, and from things that are not ours at all, that are coming from culture, upbringing, people around us, media, coming from what we believe we should think, what we believe we should like do and think. And then when you apply it to divination, when you apply this to divination, you also have to be able to distinguish what is part of the divination, what is part of the divinatory process, wherever, if whichever model you're using, if you're using the energy model, if you're using the spirit model, if you're just using the psychology model, and you're examining your own inner thoughts and inner feelings through the process of divination, you still have to be able to distinguish what is stuff that you are putting yourself into the divination, and what is the actual result and the actual communication that is coming through to you through the divination. If that's, I hope that makes sense. But the important part is getting to know yourself enough to be able to make these, I think I've mentioned 3 distinctions, but to be able to make these distinctions and like discern what is for me, what is of me, and what is not for me, and what to just leave behind and not pursue the thought anymore. Let me just click over to a different reference image. I see we have 2 people here. So hi everybody. I am just currently making the promises that I made to myself come true, in the form of the fact that I have promised myself that I will learn to speak on camera and like do something on the YouTube channel, and also that I will. Oh, hi Melanie. I'll say hi to Marcy. It's okay. I have been having a complete disaster of a live stream for the past 30 minutes. My electric vacuum like started itself, then beeped, then the cats were all over the place, then my words were all over the place, and I didn't know what I was even saying. And I think now I have just calmed down a little bit and gotten into the hang of things. And so nice to see you. I didn't have the chance to reply to your message yet because I was trying to get myself to be a little bit productive today, but I think today is just like a very strange, disastrous day. I don't know what's happening, but I'm sure that we will get through it somehow while I practice being a camera speaker, because I just cannot. Let me just move the chat window somewhere here-ish. You will see it, but just that's the price we pay for connection. Maybe I will just move this somehow a little bit so that I can like see the chat and what I'm doing. Oh my god, no. That's just oh. Okay, I think this will work. Yes, you have arrived at the perfect time, because it's less of a disaster than it was 20 minutes ago. It's still a disaster, but the fact that it's going to be a disaster, I'm counting on it. I'm counting on it. If it's going to be a complete mess, then I will not delete this life. I will leave it here so that everybody knows that life can be a disaster, and that is okay. I have been thinking a lot in the past couple of months about like the fear of being seen, and um like all the masks that we put on when we live, and I'm kind of over it. I'm kind of over like fearing being seen, and like being apprehensive about being perceived. And I think like me being here and doing these live streams and making myself do these live streams, for example, by scheduling them a day early so that I can't flake out, because I was like this close to just saying like today is just not the day for me to do this. Exactly. Life is not perfect like social media wants us to be, and I think that's just that's the holy truth for today. And I'm kind of like done trying to be perfect, because if you're trying to be perfect, then you don't get to do anything. You like accomplish very little. Oh, that's is it what? It's not behaving the way I want it to behave. But where was I? This is still not how I want it to be. Let me just uh. Okay, that's good enough for now. So yeah, this is a part of my promise to myself to like unlearn this I don't want to say it's not like that I have been like performative in the past, but I have been afraid of being seen, and I have been like wary of like being misseen. Is that a word? Is missing a word? Not misunderstood, but like perceived differently than I perceive myself. But then I realized that, do I even know, or do I even perceive myself like correctly? Do I even know who I am for me to be able to like tell if people are like seeing me as I am? So I have decided to just put myself on the spot here with these videos and just see what comes out, who comes out, and like how it goes, and like learn to just like speak and not censor myself, because when I like pre-record stuff, like my thoughts and like my ramblings, I do tend to preemptively censor myself in terms of like I like write down what I want to say, and then at the same time I like cut a lot of the things that I want to say, because I'm like, oh, nobody's interested in this. Is this too controversial? Is this to that? Maybe not say this, maybe say it this way, maybe say it that way. And then it just ends up being like a even a huger mess than this live stream has been so far. Because like now, when I come here without the expectation of being perfect, with the only expectation being, hey, you just going to like do something here for, I want to stream for like an hour today at least. We'll see how it goes. But you're going to be here for like an hour. You're going to do your thing, and you're going to just like let stuff out the way it comes out. And that's the only expectation that is like set up for you. I find that, like, at least in my mind, much easier to deal with than coming into it with like preconceived expectation of performance, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. It makes sense to me. And it has been what has like kept me from like posting or consistently videos. It has kept me from even like posting videos and reels on Instagram, even though I like want to. But again, there is this like in me expectation, or like not expectation, but uh like waiting for some sort of perfection, and like the thought that if it's like not perfect, it's not like good enough to be posted. And when I get into it for like too long, which I have been in this sort of mind shift or mindset for quite some time, it bubbles down to what I've I think talked about before I started my 30 days without like listening to stuff. And it bubbles down to the fact that you censor like everything about yourself, and it ends up with you having nothing to say at all. And I think that's a problem. I think that's a problem on like a personal level, when you live uh with the thought or the notion that whatever you have to say is not good enough or is not interesting enough to anybody, and this is all wrong. This is just all wrong. So you end up with the expectation that not expectation, but with the notion that anything you say is not good enough for everybody, and then you kind of, to a certain degree, get lost, and you stop engaging with your own thoughts and or your own opinion. And I'm not that I'm saying that I have, for example, taken on somebody else's thoughts and opinions, but I have found myself finding them like more valuable than my own. Not necessarily true or truer. And now I have like hidden my chat again. Not necessarily not necessarily true or truer, and it's like but like of more substance, let's say. Well, let me just fix this, because if it's not the way I like it, I can't find anything. Okay. Okay. Okay, come up with this. Let's just get rid of all of this. This all resonates as someone with a late life neurodivergence diagnosis who has recently realized that I mask with everyone but my husband. Of course, everyone does this to an extent. Yes, I think that to some extent, like most people do it. Most people, even like normal or like what was the opposite of neurodivergent, neurotypical people do it to some degree because it has become a societal expectation, and we spend like a lot of time on social media where we are being shown just a small like bubble of reality and of existence, and the average of what we see is a very average view of extraordinary things, if that makes sense. And each of us has like a little bubble that is curated by algorithms, which is one of the topics I am saving up for like another stream of like this rambling thing. But I remember I'm freshly 37 years old, and I remember the old internet, and I remember like forums. I remember Instagram when it was chronological, and there was a very different experience on the internet 10, 15 years ago in terms of what you saw on it. You saw things, or like the default of you seeing things was just the newest things were first, the older things were second, and there was no middleman to decide for you what you might find interesting. That responsibility was on you, with you choosing who you follow, which forums to open, which posts to click on, which like bubble of socialness you curate for yourself, and then that bubble was shown to you chronologically. Nowadays we are conned into thinking that we are curating that bubble by being also allowed to follow people on social media, to subscribe to newsletters, to subscribe to different sites and to different forums. But there is now like a huge middleman who decides what is best for you to see at any given moment, regardless of whether it is old or new or like from yesterday, 3 months ago. And that middleman has created an image of you and of what you like based on cues that we don't even have control over. I have found myself, and now I'm again rambling a lot, but I have found myself thinking or like being wary of the fact that when, for example, I'm like scrolling on Instagram or doing something and I have to go do something else, I have found myself being wary of just putting the phone down with like the app that I have opened as it is for me to continue scrolling, because I'm thinking, what if whatever is in that app reads the fact that I have like left my phone open on like this exact screen with these exact posts, as a cue or a signal that I like what I have currently on my screen. And so I always I closed the app instead of like leaving it for later to continue like reading or scrolling what I was reading, because I don't want, like, I find myself like thinking about what if, like, even the fact that I have like left my phone on this particular like screen with these particular posts, what if that gets read as some sort of clue and it like fucks up my algorithm somehow. And I find it kind of stressful, to be honest. I find it kind of stressful if you're somebody who like wants to curate what they see on their screens and who wants to be in control of what gets shown to them, to like have to think about even stuff like that. So, and now I've gone on a complete tangent somewhere else. I've completely lost any sort of plot. I have no idea where I started. I have no idea where I'm going with this. But I hope it makes sense to you, Melanie, if you're still here. If you have not been bored to death with my tangent while I'm trying to struggle to make this wing look like a wing. Um, Let me just get my bearings. Yeah, my husband sends me something interesting about plants, and then his Instagram feed has been filled with your interest. Yes, and it goes the other way around. I, for example, receive stuff from my partner, like funny videos or like memes and stuff. And when I open it on my Instagram, I then get shown more of the things that he shared with me, like as a funny thing. And of course, what he shares with me is a funny thing to me, and I like it. But I also like to have my feeds curated with my stuff, and I would like wish that this middleman that we're all dealing with was just not as aggressive as it is with everything, because it's just it's not good. But well, to get back to like the where I started with this, we live in a world where this is the new norm. This is like how we live and what we're dealing with. And I have found, even like myself, that I sometimes like struggle with not discerning my own thoughts, because I have been like working on it for years, but seeing the value in what I think about like things and life and my opinions and my practices, because what I see and how my algorithms are curated is no longer with like normal people posting things, but it's influencers and thought leaders and blah 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 and whatnot. And how do I compare to somebody who has like $1 million podcast that has like a whole team of people scripting their episodes and being able to fact check everything? Like how do I compare with like my little thought bubble? But I think that's a mistake, you know, because if we don't examine our own thoughts and feelings, then we lose touch with who we are as a being, as a person, as somebody in this world. And then it can spiral to like politics. It can spiral to like us giving our rights away, because like what do I know about life? There are people in like political offices who know much more about like things than I do, so let them deal with everything. But that's wrong, because those people who, for example, are our politicians, they don't know what's best for us. They only know what's best for them. And if we leave them without control, without like accountability, without, what is the word, not second guessing them, but holding them accountable, I guess, is the point that I'm trying to make. If we leave them without holding them accountable and examining the what they're doing for us and how they're like holding their offices and how they're conducting themselves in office, and if the job that they do is a good job or a bad job, then they will do whatever the hell they want. And again, I don't know where I'm going with this, but this is what came out of my mouth, and this is why we're here for. Well, this is why I'm here, to just let stuff fall out of my mouth. I don't like this. It's not what I want. But I am learning something about the streaming thing, and that is that me painting and talking is just not meshing very well. It's not meshing very well because I can't really concentrate on either one of those things. And then I begin to sound like a broken record. This is a European robin, Melanie. It's like a small bird, like all of the three of these ones are robins in various stages of position. I'm sure you have some sort of type of robin in North America, no? Oh, you're so good at guessing. Do you know the species name of the American robin? I would like to look it up and look at the differences when I have a few moments to relax. It's too much. Thank you. Even like the common name, I guess, is enough. I can Google it by the common name. Doesn't have to be a Latin name. I'm just a stickler. Okay, let me just Google. Isn't that a funny name, Turdus? It absolutely does not sound like a turd. Oh yeah, it's very pretty. It's quite different. This one is like leaner and less like a little burb ball. Like, look at this little guy. So round, so rotund. It looks bigger. Yours does look like longer, leaner, bigger. Looks like this big. Ours looks like this big. I'm not sure if that's true, but it's like he's a tall guy, the American one. Oh, this is a disaster. Hmm. How does this work? Looks like that. Very common. It is the I don't think I've seen like one of ours here in like my vicinity where I live. But like it's very specific looking. I can very well imagine that even non-birders would be able to recognize it and like discern it very well because it's very uh looks very specific. And when you have something that's red, it's very easy to recognize. It's the same thing when you here you can everybody can recognize a magpie because it's everywhere and has like this funny hop. I got what you meant. I got what you meant, and I didn't even clock that you said no birders can recognize it. That's very funny. It's so common, but like so mysterious that not even birders can recognize it. Wow. But I understand that you have typos. I write like horribly. My typos are the worst. But I can't even be bothered anymore, to be honest. You don't have magpies? That's wild. I thought that magpies were everywhere. Like, I know that Australia has like this special aggressive kind of magpie, but otherwise I thought that like magpies were like ubiquitous everywhere. They're the best. They have this funny way of like jump walking like little goblins, and they look like they are like not Naruto running, but like Naruto jump hopping with their little feathers. Let me. Okay. Let me. Ha! Am I back? It seems so. It seems so. I hope the chat resets as well. Somehow. Yes. Okay, I'm back. I'm so sorry. My router overheated and I lost internet, and it overheated because I have it in a cupboard, not outside, and it's very hot here, but I have opened the cupboard so it now can breathe, and hopefully this will not happen again. It will happen again in the future for sure again, but I hope it will not happen again today. I apologize very much for the interruption, but it seems that like we can continue going on as we have been going on and continue with me struggling with this bird. So I'm so sorry, Melanie, for making you scared that your screen has frozen. It was not your screen. It was this whole broadcast just went. Uh, Okay, this has been a struggle. As in, not as in like yapping with you on stream, but yapping and painting at the same time has been a huge struggle for me, and now I'm just getting super hot and cats are everywhere. I wish I could have shown you like how it looks like here, because the cats are one at like each side. However, my hour is up. I have fulfilled my promise for today that I will be streaming for 1 hour. Thank you to everybody who has been here for this hour and looking at me being a complete mess. Basically not managing to paint anything during this hour, and I'm sure not managing to say anything coherent during this hour, but it has been fun for me. And thank you so much for being here. I will end the stream here, and I will see you technically not next week, because I have decided that the better streaming day for me would be Wednesdays. And next Wednesday, like this Wednesday, the coming up, the 19th, I have my hair appointment, so that's not gonna work. So the next stream will probably be on the 26th of August, around like also the same time as today for me, like maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So maybe like this time, not like an hour before, but like this time in 2 weeks is going to be the next stream, unless I get like super crazy and start a stream just for fun at a random time in the future. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to spray myself with water and try to finish this painting today, or like do something. Thank you so much.